All right, so one of my favorite settings for a horror thriller book is going to be the haunted house. It's a classic setting. I love it. So I did my best to read a couple different haunted house books in the past 2 months. And the first one I read was episode 13. Now, this one I was so excited for. The premise of it caught my attention immediately. I was so hopeful. Generous 2 stars. Did not go well for me. Essentially, this is going to be a found footage, diary entries, videos found, online blog kind of story someone has put together about this paranormal investigator team. They go to haunted houses, they're trying to investigate and prove or disprove the supernatural. I hated every single character, and the plot started to drive me up the wall by the end of it. It wasn't so much the plot, it was the characters. I hated every single one of the characters except for one who was barely in it. And then another character didn't annoy me. She was fine, but nothing special. So essentially, without spoilers, but maybe a little bit more detail than some would like, you have a husband and wife. The husband's only personality trait is he believes in ghosts and he loves his wife. The wife, she has her PhD in some kind of physics, and she does not believe in the supernatural. She's just going crazy when things happen. Not the fun, entertaining to read kind of crazy, just the annoying, why are you acting like this, maniacal, laughing crazy. Then you have the tech guy who is just an ex-cop who is obnoxious, narcissistic, frustrating to read about, has a hero complex and thinks he's better than everybody. And because he read some books and believes in the supernatural, he thinks he knows how to fight ghosts. Like, this man's seen 2 episodes or maybe a season of Supernatural and thinks he knows what you have to do. The cameraman is the only good character. His entire backstory, everything about him and his personality, I love and adore. He is underused. If he had been the protagonist, this might have been a 5-star book. And then you have the actress who's there for as a personality. She's trying to make it as an actress, single mother, doing what she's got to do. She's fine. She's there. She's fine. There's nothing wrong with her. Things go crazy. Supernatural presence. Caught on camera, undeniable proof of the supernatural kind of vibes going on. At least that's what they think is happening. And I'm like, okay, how are they going to react to this? Hey, producers, we have undeniable proof of the supernatural. So we're going to stay here and try to drag this out into like 3 episodes? No, we're perfectly capable of handling this situation. We've been bumping around dark houses for like years now. We know what we're doing. No one else needs to get involved. Sure. And then it starts to go in a direction that I think is going to be really cool. Without spoilers. It is sci-fi vibes. I'm thinking parallel universes. I'm thinking time loops. I'm thinking something cool must be happening for the plot to do what it's currently doing. And by the end, I'm like, oh, no, it's not. No, what? No one cares. Yeah, I did not have a fun time with this book. Characters were frustrating. Plot was entertaining at first, but lackluster by the end. In addition to that, I listened to the audiobook of it, and it really just felt overproduced to me. Too many sound effects. It's a full cast of characters, which I normally enjoy, but it felt like a radio drama. I was not immersed in this. I felt like I was listening to the radio, and they were throwing in like sound effects, like driving cars. You hear tires running over leaves. You hear the wind. You hear everything. And I'm just like, this is not what I'm used to for an audiobook, and I don't like it. So not for me, but I love the premise. I want to read something else like this book, and I'm hoping someone else likes it. The next one I read was for Books and Lala's Literally Dead Book Club. It is The Spite House, and I greatly enjoyed the majority of this book. So it's 3.5 star, really enjoyed. I thought it would be a 5-star at one point, but it just didn't stick the landing for me. It is essentially a man and his 2 daughters are on the run. We don't know what they're running from. And he is taking a job as kind of like a house sitter / paranormal investigator again for this lady who owns this haunted house that she does not live in, and she just needs someone to live there to get proof of the supernatural so she can bring in another team that specializes in disproving the supernatural, but be confronted with this evidence. She needs someone to make this house kind of active before these people come in. And I loved the underlying mystery of what was happening, why they're on the run, what's going on with the daughters, what's going on with the husband, where's the mother. I loved all that in the beginning about the family. I loved the characters. I loved the writing. It was immersive. I loved the beginning half of this book. On top of that, you had the rich lady. Like, why is she paying this exorbitant amount of money for someone to come live in this house and just record what happens there? What's her backstory? Because we get little bits of her slowly being introduced, and her family, and a curse, and what is in this house? What history does it have? Because there's a lot there as well. It's next to this like abandoned orphanage. It's a creepy shape. It's a spite house. It's meant to make you feel fear and anger. And then you have the townspeople who know something's going on. Like, we know previous residents of this house have fled or something has happened to them. So the accumulations of mysteries in the beginning of the story, I adored it. However, sadly, I felt that like mid to onward point, you're slowly given so much information about the mysteries that it's all put together. Like, yep, okay, cool, yep, I understand everything. I know what's happening. But they're still kind of treating it like a mystery, as if because we didn't have some grand reveal. It's just so much has been stated. I'm like, okay, I know what happened. So when it is revealed, and it's a big climactic, oh my god, reveal, I'm like, yeah, we've known this for like 5 chapters now. I've been waiting for you guys to catch up. So that was a little frustrating. The ending, because the ending kind of hung on what the history of all these mysteries were, it again felt lackluster because we had so much buildup that the climax didn't meet the standards, because it's like I already figured everything out, so I'm waiting for the characters to catch up. And then the ending, in addition to that, really felt like a forced happy ending, but they tried to keep it with a little bit of a sadness to it, so it's not all perfect, but I'm just like, everything worked out in too much of a neat little bow for me to really enjoy it. So 3.5, will read from this author again. Genuinely love these characters and the writing. The atmosphere was good. It just, narrative plot-wise, didn't stick the landing for me, but I can see why other people loved it. Alright, the next book is Just Like Home. I love this cover. This cover is adorable. It's cute. I love it. And I wish I loved this book. I wish I could tell you what the plot of this book was, and I don't even know if I can. So, woman is reflecting back on her childhood. Father did some bad stuff. Mother is left home alone in this house after kicking daughter out at 18, and now daughter has to come back and clean out the house as mother is dying, and she's reflecting back on her childhood, what happened in her house, what her father did, and how her mother treated her, and it's just a lot of slow examinations of trauma, and is something wrong with the daughter, is something wrong with the house, is something wrong with the mother, there's some creepy scenes, there's some body horror stuff going on. It's really better to go into this book completely blind, because the synopsis, in even honestly what I've said is honestly too much information. Just go in knowing cute cover and not really much of a plot, just examinations of feelings and thinking about past traumas. So not my kind of thing, because I'm pretty sure I've said many times, I like a strong narrative structure to a story. I like thing is happening that is pushing story forward. I do not like the meandering plot line. That's what this feels like. The writing, while beautiful, is also not my style. I like a very simple narrative structure. I don't want things to be overly flowery and descriptive. I don't like the abundance of metaphors and similes. And the writing is very purposeful. I don't want to say like purple prose or anything like that, but it's definitely more literary flowery, focusing on emotions kind of thing, rather than very straightforward plot that I appreciate. So, nothing about this book was for me at all. I still gave it 2 stars because I liked the toxic mother-daughter relationship. I liked how it got very weird near the end. I liked what was happening in the past, and if the storyline had completely taken place in the past and we had none of this present day stuff, and it was just like some kind of coming of age story, then it might have worked. Like, I could see this almost fitting in with maybe like in Derry almost. Like, this could have almost taken place in Derry. So people who love this book are going to love it for every reason that I hate it, because it was not for me. All right, the last haunted house book is one I actually own. It's How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. I have given every book that I've read by Grady Hendrix either 2 or 3 stars. I have never really enjoyed it, and this one, thank God, was finally the exception. Why I bought the physical book, I don't know, but I did, and I'm so happy because I gave it at 3.5 or a full 4 stars. It's very close, honestly. At times, I thought it would be a 5. A nitpicky little detail knocked it down to a 4. I don't think I'd actually give it a 3.5. So yeah, full 4. What this book is about 2 siblings. Their parents have just died, and they're going through the will, and they have to sell off the house. The mother has all these creepy dolls. She was a puppeteer. She did a Christian puppet show at church. And then she also had a bunch of friends who were also puppeteers. So the house is crawling with dolls. Some of them creepy, some of them not. It is very much haunted house vibes. I love the setting. And what my favorite part of this book is the fact that the sections are broken up into the stages of grief. So the first section of this book is titled Denial, and then I'm pretty sure, was it Anger is the next one? Yeah. Followed by Bargaining, and I think Acceptance is next. Nope, Depression, then Acceptance. And I loved those kind of sections, because the idea of those emotions are explored in those sections, just not to the extent that I would like. They are explored, but other things are happening to also trigger those emotions, and it's not really as focused on the character's death of the parents that I would want, which is the only reason it's not a full 5 stars, because other elements had to be introduced for these emotions to kind of be triggered and happen. But I did love this, and I have never been so angry at a character. Like, I raged updated on Goodreads for this book for how much I hated the brother. The spoiled, rotten, golden child who can do no wrong, the favorite. That is who he is for a section of this book, and it was pissing me the hell off. But then you dive more into his backstory. You dive more into the sister's backstory. And it is twisted, and I love it. I loved both these characters by the end. I still hate the brother a little bit, but I appreciate him much more. Okay, I'm not angry at him anymore. Maybe I am. It's complicated. But again, I think my only other complaint would be I want it to be a little bit longer, because I would have loved to dive more into the mother's history as well. But I do recommend this one. This is my favorite Grady Hendrix. I loved it. I truly, truly did. So those are the 4 haunted house books that I've read. I love the setting of them. I think I love the setting of all of these. All of these had a different vibe. So episode 13 was very much what you would expect from like a found footage ghost hunting TV show kind of vibes that dive into like paranormal, bordering on sci-fi. Actually, not even bordering. Goes into sci-fi vibes. Spite House being a little bit more gothic in its vibes, but also family drama and just historical and social horror. Just Like Home is more literary, fancy, internal struggle, body horror kind of vibes to its haunted house, all wrapped up in there. And How to Sell Your Haunted House is just a classic kind of thriller horror that would make an excellent TV show. I need this to be a TV show. Though my favorite haunted house story is probably still Lock Every Door. Like that one, Riley Sagar, that's who that's by. My absolute favorites, gothic social horror, and a twist that I did not see coming, and I'm still an idiot for not seeing coming. I should have saw that. I was too new to thrillers. I should have known better. But anyhow, those are the horror book or the haunted house books that I've read. I will talk to you later.